Welcome to the GameChanger 00100 show. I am your host, GameChanger. So, Danica Marie had a great video. I only seen the last half of it, but I'm going to watch the beginning half with you. And she was asking a question about, are women, are nerds the new thing? And I'm going to give a short answer to that and say no, no. And the reason why I'm saying no is not because nerds aren't becoming more popular or anything like that, or more accepted in society and embraced by women. I'm not saying that that's not the case, but what I'm saying is TikTok is whatever you see on TikTok is really a form of manipulation and it's not an actual thing. It's someone trying to create a trend, it's not someone speaking on an existing trend. You see, if a woman on TikTok is talking about, oh, I love me some nerd, give me that nerd loving, I just want me a nerd. You want to know what they should be doing? They should just be in the nerd's DMs. If you was really about that life, you don't announce what's you don't make a video of your desire for a general population of people if you are truly interested in that general population of people. It just don't work that way. I don't go online and say, hey, I love me some Aborigine women. No, if I was the type to do stuff like that, if I was a DM type person, I would look up an Aboriginal woman. By the way, just so y'all know, I'm using that as an example, but Aboriginal women are the least attractive women on the planet, in my opinion. But if I had that particular fetish, I would say I would just go into the Aborigine homepage, Aboriginal Cupid, and say, "Hey, so I see you doing your thing. How about we get together and why don't you sing on this didgeridoo for me, or whatever you say to Aboriginal women? I don't know, but the whole concept of I'm going to announce that I'm into a particular demographic is, to answer Danica Marie's question, a scam. Not to say that there don't exist a higher concentration of women that are interested in nerds than there was in the past, but that's something completely different. That's just cultures merging. That's just cultures merging through the internet, through just in general, just the black community isn't as isolated as it once was, and other communities are not as isolated as they once were. So they're picking up trends and traits from other community, and they understand that there are different types of men out there other than the thug and the Carlton Banks. A lot of black women are developing a more sophisticated view of men. It took them a very long time, but they are. Beginning and end of it. So, I want to talk about why they are doing this particular lie. I'm talking about the black women. In order to do this, you must understand what is black women's thesis goal. In fact, that's my stove. That's my stove beeping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play a little bit of Danica Marie while I go tend to that, and I'll be right back. So let me just share the screen, and I'll get back to where I started from. By the way, hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. And welcome to the lovely Danica Marie.
Give me a nerd. I just love the look on their face when they light up talking about something they're so interested in. Like, tell me about the things that make your heart better. Tell me about that thing that just tickles your brain in the right way. You know what I mean? Like, tell me about it right now.
Y'all can keep the hood dudes. Pass me the nerdiest nerd there is known to men. Like the nerdiest nerd in my age group, or just a little tad bit older. But the nerdiest nerd y'all got, give them to me. That's what I want. As a bad bitch, I want me a nerd. I don't want no hood dude. What can no hood dude do for me other than get the fuck out of my face? I'm not saying it like that because it's somebody out there for everybody, just like it's somebody out there for me. But them just ain't my kind. Like, them be the ones that be cheating and shit. I ain't got time for that. They be all in the next. You know what? The nerds have hobbies. Okay, hood niggas, they hobbies is flirting with hoes, being in bitches' face, going to the club. It's just played out for me. I'm done with that lifestyle. I don't want that. Like, I want the nerdiest nerd
Okay,
y'all got.
over 10% of my body count comes from women like this. Women who, for whatever reason, feel that I'm going to treat them different than Pookie would. You stupid. And I'm not exaggerating. Am I going to say it's the majority? No, nowhere near that. But the mentality where she maintains a hood appearance and think that she's getting some type of loyalty discount from me because I'm a nerd. And do I feel bad when I do things like that, or when I've done things like that? No. The reason why is because she's attempting to take advantage of me, and she finds herself eventually being taken advantage of. If you want fidelity, you have to earn it, and you don't earn it by being common and typical. You just don't. This is her stating what she wants and why she wants it. And really, the reason that she wants it is because of the benefits that she feels that a nerd will give her. I don't know why they think nerds are stupid. I don't know why they think that a group of people who are reputedly smart, not every nerd is smart, but I don't know why they feel that a group of people who are reputedly smart is just so dim to think like, oh, I think she likes me. Like, no, you like what you think I could do for you. You obviously never attempted to seduce a nerd, you know, um, because your appearance suggests otherwise. You haven't even asked yourself what do nerds like. You ask yourself what Pookie like, and that's anything with a vagina, but you never really asked yourself what do nerds like. If you did, you would be Kelly Stamps, but you're not. So yes, you're destined to get. I mean, and you're going from getting ran through from one demographic to another, which is hilarious to me. It is hilarious to me. When this happens to me, it just it's so. I mean, it's gratifying from physical gratification point of view, but the other point of view is like, really, do you actually think this? Oh, and you nerds, y'all tell me what they tried to do to convince you that they're about that nerd life. It's always something that makes no sense, and it shows how little of a clue they don't have. Like one chick, she straight up told me, she showed me a picture of her in high school. She was like 25. And she was like, see, this is from me. This is a picture of me, before, when I was in high school and I was a 4.0 student, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And by this stage in life, she was still attracted. Okay, if you want to picture her, picture the woman on Players Club, not any of the dancers, but the light skinned chick that was behind the bar. A very attractive woman, but you could tell that her lifestyle is starting to affect her looks. Like she drinks a lot or she smokes a lot. So she was one of those. And she was like, before my ex boyfriend and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, listen, I don't really know if you got a 4.0 ever. I really don't care because I'm not here because of your GPA, your high school GPA, and we're both adults now. I truly don't care. I care about the same thing that Pookie cares about. Understand that. Understand that completely. But they don't. Shame on you. Shame on you for stereotyping nerds so much that you think, oh my gosh. Anyway, shout out to the super chat. It says, shout out to Landon. Oh, I had a cash app last time I didn't read. I'll read it to you from She Hates You. It says, sometimes women date nerds to violate the idea that there are some things other than low class. Then, huh? Oh, to validate, excuse me. Sometimes women date nerds to validate the idea that there are some things other than lower class. Okay, it depends on how you look at that. Um, how you look at class, because I grew up poor, and I've been a nerd all my life. So I was a nerd while growing up, and from a socioeconomic standpoint, I was low class. I was the same class as my brother, who was a thug. So I don't know now if you're using like sophistication in the place of class, then yes, I can see that. They do want to feel like they can appeal to a group of people with a certain level of sophistication. Um, And I was wrong earlier or just now when I said that we desire the same things. We don't. We actually have far more sophisticated standards than Pookie Ray Ray. It's just that it's still carnal. We still have the same carnal design as them. They just have a much wider net of women that they're willing to embrace. And nerds tend to have like a more narrow, a far more narrow net on women that we're willing to entertain, especially on a relationship level. So yes,
To me, like, don't be the ones that's gonna wife your ass. They ready to start a family. They would probably have both parents in the household. They had a man actually teach them how to be a man.
I don't know what that means. I was raised by my father. He taught me nothing about being a nerd. I strongly believe that he wanted. Of course, my father didn't want a thug, but I strongly believe that he wanted an athlete for a son. He would take me to Raiders games and things like that growing up, and I'm like, oh, this is the most boring crap ever. Oh no, the most boring was the A's games. Holy crap, that was just grueling. Um, and yeah, he loved me, of course, but I'm just saying, like, it's he didn't teach me to nerd. That's my point. He didn't. My father didn't teach me to nerd. He didn't. Um, once again, they pretend to lust after this thing, but they have no understanding of it, none whatsoever. Anyway,
Lord, please bring me a nerd. Bring me a nerd. Hey, I acknowledge beggars cannot be choosers. Listen, I'm getting older. I don't want a guy who wants to party every weekend. There's just something so refreshing about a humble nerd.
ha!
Like, if you're passionate about Legos, blah, blah, I'll help you build them.
Yes, she's part of that plus 10%. Oh, you think I'm humble? Okay. You know what I'm gonna do because he's gonna be at this event pretty soon. If I could get in touch with him, I'm gonna talk to Too Short, and I'm gonna ask for permission to make Freaky Tales from a nerd's point of view because it consists of women like this. I know this chick, met her on Bumble, thought I was a nerd and that I would be humble. So, something like, oh crap, this is grueling. This is grueling. The amount of assumptions that they make. Oh, and trust, they do let their guard down. More fool them. They do let their guard down. Like, really? Because I know calculus. You think somehow I'm going to be humble? What? Especially if he's a nerd that just happened to be smart. There's something for him to be arrogant about. What? Why? I'm a nerd with a big ass dick. Why in the hell would I be humble? Yeah, she's. Yep.
Like, let's go to the comic book store. Out to the liquor store, please. Okay, if you think you're Batman, that's fine. I'll buy you. If you want him, I'll buy you. So just literally can't take another party boy, please. I'd rather be stressed that he's home gaming with his boys than out at the club. Bring me a good humble nerd. That's it.
Well,
Press one in the chat room if you truly believe that Danica Marie is Thelma from Good Times daughter. Press one in the chat room if you believe that that's the case, or granddaughter or something like that. All right, let's see what she has to say.
y'all have heard the women say they want a nerd. Now, today, to be honest with you all, this has been something that has been in the works and bubbling under for quite some time now. I've been seeing so many countless women, baddies included. Y'all see these women? These women are not unattractive. They have been vocalizing their new preference of having a nerd. And one could argue that these women are faking and lying and pretending. And as a matter of fact, I do have some videos coming up in just a moment of a guy giving his pushback on this who identifies as a nerd. And he's like, no, these chicks.
Are y'all having trouble with audio from the video? Yeah, and here's this guy again. Here's this guy again. We're gonna, because Media Man ripped into him, and we're gonna talk about that. Um, I don't know how he became the face of nerds, and not that I'm complaining or anything like that. I'm just like, they just picked this guy from Best Buy and said that I'm going to use him as an example. It's like, all right, if you think it I don't. People need to understand reality and not perception, or else life is going to be difficult. And that's the problem with so many women. They 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 make decisions off of perception, not reality. That's why a lot of swirlers find themselves with the brokest um, Brad that they can find, because the perception is because he's Brad, and Brads typically have more money, that he has money. They're into that perception, but then they find themselves with with the brokest ones. I mean, I don't blame Brad for taking advantage of their short sightedness. I really don't. It's that's more fool them. But here's the thing, and this goes into the humble part and all that other stuff. Black women have a tendency to have a very hive mind mentality. They have a group think mentality. Whatever you see one do, you will see thousands do. That whole clock it and period. It's all the same. They dance the same. They twerk the same. They vote the same. They do everything pretty much the same. I am the table. Like, they all have this hive mind mentality. So what winds up happening, and they're going to, until they get rid of, and start thinking more individually, until that happens, they're going to continue to have this particular problem. And what problem is that? Arrogance is a byproduct of results most of the time. And that's what they're complaining about. They're complaining about the last group of men that the hive swarmed, which was Pookie, Ray Ray, is arrogant. Well, of course they're arrogant. They're getting swarmed with box. So their solution is we're going to swarm this other group. And they just keep going from group to group, swarming them with box, wondering why that group becomes arrogant and don't really look at them as valuable. Because you're stupid. Stop swarming groups of men with box, expecting them to be humble. If you like nerds, don't announce it on TikTok so nerds will all of a sudden be the new it dudes and the new arrogant dudes that treat you like crap. Like be the first one in, get in this guy's DMs. Like, what? Stop being stupid. I'm going to go to Afrotech. We're going to go to Afrotech. Let's all go to Afrotech. What do you think that's going to do? You're stupid. You go from demographic to demographic. Wondering why no one takes you seriously. Spread it out. And this goes to the passport bros. Spread it out. I'm going to Sasua. You're going to Sasua. We're going to Sasua. Let's all go to Sasua. Damn. Learn how to spread it out. Stop being stupid.
Are lying. But nevertheless, you do have a lot of people out there, men more specifically, who feel like this is a scam, right? It went from women only wanting to date tall guys to now them wanting short kings. It went from women wanting the quote unquote high.
See, thank you, Thelma. I hate your cooking, but thank you, Thelma. She hit the net on the head. They're going from different group. I want the tall guys. Then the tall guys get arrogant. Like, oh, okay, I want the short guys. Of course, the short guys. They've been doing this for decades. They have been doing this for decades. And you want to know why they do that? Because unlike any other group of women, Black American women cannot stand confidence in a man. While other women are attracted to it, Black women are repulsed by it. So what they're doing is they're trying to find the group of least confident men that they believe to be the least confident men. Remember the one chick said humble? Oh, they're so humble? Yeah, until you swarm them with box. I mean, then and really they swarm the next group so the previous group could get humble. It's ridiculous. The games that they play is ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. There's the natural, sapiosexual women that has always existed. Trust me, I've been a nerd all my life, and I've been above the curve intellectually all my life. There is, was, and always will be sapiosexual women, always. And maybe that's increased with time. In fact, from what I gather, it has. And then there is the ones who just have this ridiculous agenda, who's trying to, find the next group of men that they can say that they like them. It's ridiculous.
Value men and the guys who are rich and wealthy to, oh, I just want me a regular, normal 9-to-5 blue collar worker. Now here these.
Oh, and that's another one. You see? So Danica, see, she's wise. She's wise. I'm gonna call her Thelma from time to time because that's a Freudian slip. But she's wise. She see the migration. She see the box migration. It's like penguins or some crap like that. It's ridiculous. They're just like migrating. They all just be in the same herd going to the same stuff. You're right. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to go to the blue collar. Like after a while of making white collar guys arrogant, which they should have never done. They're like, okay, now let's swarm the blue collar guys. They just keep, they're just hurting their box to different demographics of penis. It's holy crap. It's just amazing to watch. I used to have a fish tank. I used to have a saltwater fish tank. It's very difficult to keep up. And I used to love just watching the fish, the schools of fish just swarm, like work together in a collective and move and attack and all that stuff. I love to watch that, and that's what, and it's the same thing. These black women just freaking migrate their box everywhere, everywhere. You talk to 100 white women and ask them what type of guy, because we're talking about just like types, like personality types, if you categorize such things. Some of them be like, "Oh, I love me a guy on a motorcycle. I love me a skateboarder. I love me a guy that, I love me a golfer. I love me a gothic guy. I love me a preppy guy. I love me a fraternity bro." They're all over the place with it, all over. I love a football player. I love, a guy that watches football. I love a guy that drinks beer, not light beer, but real beer. They are all over the place. So no group is getting like ridiculously swarmed by the entire ethnicity of whiteness. The, but as black women, what do they, you ask them what do they want, and they won't say thug. I know, people who complain about Pookie River think that they're all going to say the same thing now, but no, no, that's so 2008. Now they're just like, going through different demographics, looking for one that'll put them in first place. It's madness.
Same women are begging for square, weird, and now they want them. And a lot of the guys have reached the conclusion of y'all only want these type of guys now because you're down and out, because you're struggling, because you want assistance, you want help, you want love, you want support. I mean, and they do kind of sort of have a good argument. Let's not lie about it. Even the last chick, she was like, "Oh yeah, the nerds, they're ready to wife you up."
Um, um, Danica, nerds are ready to wipe you up. Nerds are not ready to wipe her up. And we also have the sophistication to tell the difference. We're ready to run through her the same as every other demographic. It's listen, trying to find a husband when you're not wife material is going to get you ran through. And she is not wife material. And it's not because of her physical appearance or even her fake hair or anything like that, even though, there's a there. But even outside of that, just the way she talks about what can a nerd in this case do for her versus what she brings to a relationship. Off the bat, we know many nerds are smart. We know that off the bat, and they do the same thing with white dudes. I want a white dude because he got money, he got blah blah blah, and basically the sentence always begins with he got and then ends with how that thing benefits her. It's like, okay. And white guys hear this and they run through them. They're just getting ran through. And now with this new tactic, I guess that it's going to be nerds trying to run through it. I guess. I mean, it seems like every demographic is having their chance to run through these broads. It's sad. It's sad to watch them like this. It really is.
They're ready to settle down with you. They just
We are not. We are Danica, little sis. We are not. When was the last time you seen a nerd take care of a family with her? It's not because that's not what she wants. When was the last time you seen, like, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a nerd Keisha pairing in the daytime?
want to be outside. They just want to sleep around with a whole bunch of different women. But me, I need me a serious man. Y'all, I even came across a clip of a woman talking about she wants a nerd, aka a simp. Like that's how they're viewing these nerds. They want these type of guys because in their
Holy
minds,
crap.
these are the type that they can
Ran through. Ran through. I'm your Huckleberry. Like I said, 10% plus. 10% plus. It's, it's amazing that they actually think that we're going to take care of their damn kids. It is a, they never see this pairing. And each one of the 10% plus thought they actually thought that holy crap, oh, I'll be right back. They actually thought that I was so underserviced that I would simp for them. They all had another thing coming, and I could tell y'all stories. Like I said, I could do a two short freaky tales on my life. And it would take place the same. It would take place in the same place, and it would be like because Too Short would mention like the high schools and stuff that these chicks go to. I would do the same thing. It's amazing they all think that they're the first ones that came up with the bright idea. It's amazing. Yeah, she would get ran through.
kind of get over on, right? They can just kind of settle down with and say, okay, enough is enough. This is a safe and sure. And that's why a lot of like before we move head on, I want to ask y'all, do y'all feel like these women today are sincere and genuinely looking for a nerdy type of guy? Or
These women, no. Well, I mean, they are, but they're not like serious about it.
do you feel like these women are just burnt out and tired of being played with? And so they're resorting to settling down for more sexual and men, and they feel like men and they feel understood that. If you believe that these women are fronting and faking and only looking for a savior, put a one in the chat. Put a one in the chat if it's like, no, they're just looking for a man to wine and dine them, wipe them up after they have already been ran through in the streets. Put a one if you believe that. Put a two in the chat if it's like, no, these women really do want a nerdy type of guy. As a matter of fact, maybe you are that nerdy type of guy that these women are choosing up on. Maybe you are that quote unquote nerd and you feel like you are you've always had your pick 'em in the so you agree with that, then put a 2 in the chat. I'm trying to see something.
I can't really put a one or a two. And the reason why I can't put a two is because in anyone, this is why I'm against game deuces or liars. Um, Anyone that says that they can get any woman that they want is lying. Point blank, period. Rihanna would be busy if all the men who say that they could get any woman they want actually meant it. It's in my nature, and it's in the nature of most every man to want what he can't have. So I'll never get any woman I want. So I cannot give you a two to that one. I just can't. Um, do I do better than people expect nerds to do? And the answer to that is yes. And that's all I can say about that.
Okay? But I have another clip for you all that I am going to play. Let's get into that.
So recently on my For You page, seen a lot of stuff saying I want a nerdy boyfriend. I just want to clarify on what they mean by that. So they don't mean people like me, people like you, the people who actually fit the description. They mean just an unconventionally attractive dude with glasses. Because I can speak from experience on this. I really can. So there was this girl I was talking to at my community college, and I'm about to graduate, go to university in the fall, back in 2024. Asked me about how I feel about my favorite anime. I told her Dragon Ball, and I started telling her about how Fusion Reborn is the best Dragon Ball movie ever made. It had my Gogeta in there, absolutely cooking Janemba. Looks at me with pure disgust. Calls me a fucking weirdo. All because I was saying how much Gogeta was, how much I loved Fusion Reborn. So moral of the story is they don't mean people who fit the description like me and you. They don't mean us. So they don't mean people like me, people like you.
Me and you. Well, okay, this is the thing, bro.
Okay. All right. I've seen this part. This is about where I came in on Danika's thing. But all right. There's a lot going on with it, with that, and there's some things going on with this guy. Um, it's really so much of the story left out for me to make any conclusion of what I believe happened. Okay, here's one of the things that I think it might have been because the way he told the story, and we're only getting his side of the story, was that she called him weird for being a nerd after professing that she's into nerds. But and you know, I don't know if it was he was weird because he's a nerd or was he weird for his favorite anime? So, because maybe she's a nerd. All right. So, for those of you non-nerd people, or people who aren't necessarily into anime, Dragon Ball is like the most commercial portion of anime. It's like entry level. It's like a person who never seen or heard of any other anime heard of Dragon Ball. So even to me as a nerd, I wouldn't call him weird for that. I would say, I would just say, really, of all the anime in the world, you picked the Dragon Ball Z Frieza Returns movie. I wouldn't. Well, okay. Someone who told me that, I would just say that they're not really deep into anime. And that's what I would say. That is very surface level. So she might have been reacting to that, and he just got hyper defensive. We don't know. Because why would you ask that question? Why would her as a woman ask that question and then laugh at the answer? Because you're asking a question that a nerd would answer and then call him weird for answering it. That would make her weird as hell. Once again, I don't know what happened. It could have been that his answer, and well, once again, people like Danica, who I don't think she's a nerd, but maybe she is, maybe she isn't, but um, she probably wouldn't know that. So an outsider looking in, like, oh, she's just thumping on him from nerd, but no, that answer, and I see the comment section, so y'all agree with me. That answer is a bit of a really from a nerd point of view. It's like really Dragon Ball Resurrection of F. It's kind of like somebody saying who's your favorite DC character, and somebody saying Superman. It's like really. I mean, that's the most popularized DC character. You, that's not really. You're probably not that deep into DC if you say Superman or Batman. Like, I mean, if you say Static Shock, then it's like, oh, okay, this person is, he's real deep into it. He read a comic book or two. But let's listen to what this forehead has to say.
Thing. Just because you are a nerd and you have some nerdy tendencies, that don't mean you can't have a little swag, okay? Don't mean that we don't like a nice clean cut man, okay? Nice little fade, okay? Maybe a nerd that happens to hit the gym too. I hit the gym, but am I cosplaying at Dragon Con? Hell yeah. Matter of fact, that's why I'm hitting the gym, so that my cosplay be looking right. So it might be something else. It might be something else. But you don't have to look a certain way just because you're a nerd, okay? That's it. Have a great day.
Woman like.
Okay. It's interesting, her reaction and his reaction, and I'm going to cover that in a bit. The level of entitlement that she has, like, you need to do more for me. It just oozes off of so many women like her. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. I'm gonna let this brother speak, and then I'm gonna respond to that.
Like nerdy guys. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Now, I myself am a nerd. Don't let my muscles and wife beater fool you. I have nerdy interests. I read comic books. I even read fantasy books. I had my girlfriend make me this figurine. I've even watched a couple hours of a large numbers list and literally just comparing orders of magnitudes of number, and they're getting bigger. Now, with all that being said,
I've never done that ever. I have done similar things, but I've never done that ever. That's interesting.
didn't nerf myself. All because you're a nerdy guy, all because you watch anime or you like video games, doesn't mean you have to fit into the like Disney-esque movie stereotype of a nerd. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because I saw this video right here, right? Whenever I see videos like this, it makes me really sad because it's this nerdy guy, right? He has the glasses, he has the unkempt beard and hair or whatever like that. And he's talking about how girls don't actually want nerdy guys like him. They want conventionally attractive guys who wear glasses. And it's kind of ironic because if you're a guy and you have some nerdy interests, some things that you kind of get like really involved into, women a lot of the times appreciate that. They can appreciate a guy who, you know, has stuff to talk about or who just has other passions other than like drinking and sports. Although I love sports, I'm just saying women often find those things attractive. But you get people like the guy in the video who are super nerdy and they think that, oh, well, I'm nerdy and she doesn't like me. It must be because I'm nerdy. Bro, it's because you don't try. You don't work out. You don't get haircuts. You don't dress nice. You don't smell good. You put zero effort into your appearance or your social skills. And then you sit there and complain that women don't like nerdy guys. Like, think about the concept of finance bros, right? They're actually kind of nerdy when you think about it. Like, they're super locked in.
Okay, he's going into a tangent. All right. Here's what bothers me. There's a number of things that bother me about what he's saying. One of the main things is he's not really taking into account that the woman in question, the woman in his story, had already seen him. She already seen him and she displayed some level of interest. So if he was rejected on his physical appearance, then there wouldn't have been any conversation at all. So right then and there, your presumptions about him, and then you just went to thump on his looks or his lack of effort. And this is really just his way of saying, I'm more handsome than you, and I'll know why men have a strong desire to say such things. Um, I have friends who and family members who are more handsome than I am. They never said it. I just know. So I don't really understand the thinking of guys like this. But he desperately wants to say, "I'm more handsome than you." And the reason that you get the results is because you are not as handsome as I. It's like, okay, though being handsome do yield you better results with women. Granted, that's not what's at play here because once again she entertained him initially. She wouldn't have did that if she felt that he didn't meet the looks criteria that she had. That's one thing that disturbed me about this whole exchange here, and well, this whole monologue here. But another thing that disturbed me about it was that he didn't even inquire or even think to ponder on what she looks like, which is completely wild to me, which goes into this notion that we have in the black community that the man is to be more handsome than the woman. It don't matter what she look like. You gotta shave your beard. What if she got a freaking beard? You didn't even ask. I'm just gonna give him a number, on the scale from 1 to 10. This is not how I believe his appearance is. And I'm talking about the nerdy dude, the other dude, the other nerdy dude. Let's just give him a 5, just average. Just give him a 5. Should he really have to do all that for a 3? For all you didn't even see if she was a 3. Listen, am I saying that nerds or any men don't have to, go the extra mile and do the pretty boy routine and brush your hair like Chicago on Poetic Justice to get the waves in? Am I saying that? No. What I'm saying is, if you are on the same level as her from a physical standpoint, meaning that you put in the same effort into yourself that she does, and there's still a disconnect because she has a higher physical demand, then that's a her thing. If she's a 5 demanding a 9, then that's a her thing. But from his point of view was, you're a 5, I don't know what she is, but she deserves a 9 because she has a vagina. Because that's all you know about her. All you know about her is that she has a vagina. And that you should do all these things that you're describing simply because she has one. Like, think of it like Roseanne and John Goodman. Or what was his name? Roseanne and what was the father's name from that John Goodman played on the show Roseanne? What was his name? Like Hank or something like that? Or what was it? Um, anyway, that guy, right? Now, if Hank was to, or what is it? Dan, thank you. So if Dan was to, do the same thing on TikTok if they had it back then and say, blah 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 blah. This woman wasn't feeling me, and it's because I'm a blue collar guy, and then somebody like him responds, it's not because you're a blue collar, it's because you need to lose weight and you need to get the fade and you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to work on your physical appearance, and then come to find out that he was trying to get with Roseanne. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. You're telling him that he needs to go the extra mile without even knowing what he's going the extra mile to. You don't even know his destination. Talking about go the extra mile. I don't like this way of thinking. I really, really don't. Because there exists a non insignificant amount of men out there who are not chasing a fantasy, therefore they don't see the need to become one. Like there's some just Hank Hill guys out there that's just happy with a Peggy Hill. They are. I mean, for you to say without even like looking at Peggy, like you should do this, you should do this. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. What are you trying to pull? I mean, you're putting too much bait on a dude that's not even looking for a big fish. That might not be looking for a big fish. See, the problem is that he didn't ask. If dude was saying that, he's looking for Lori Harvey type, because Lori Harvey, I think she is in the nerds. I know Michael B. Jordan is a nerd, so uh, if but Michael B. Jordan also looks like Michael B. Jordan, and he has Michael B. Jordan money and all that stuff. So there's that. It's like, but we don't know if he's looking for Lori Harvey. We don't. So let's not assume. So there was a lot of assumptions going on between the last two people. Let's see where he's going with this.
into math and numbers and stocks and trading and all that stuff, but they can often pull women because they work out, they dress nice, they smell good. Yeah. Don't take this as me saying attraction doesn't matter at all.
I hate it when they say pull women. Listen, you're talking about exceptional men, and you're not really saying exceptional women. You're talking about exceptional men, and you're not really talking about exceptional women. These are finance bros, and I don't even know what that is, but these are finance bros, and they work out and they do this, this, and this, and this, and they get a woman. Really, a woman? Ever notice that average box just equates to your entire life's effort? Some men are going to rethink that, especially if you are in finance in any way, shape, and form. Because it's a concept of overpaying for something. He didn't say he said, they get women. It's like, well, do they get models? Do they get like actresses, famous women? Do they get like exceptional women? Do they get their pick of women? Do they have like secret threesomes, or I'm sorry, like a secret harem of cooperative American women because they're so exceptional, or do they just get like a regular chick? There's this notion, and it's deep in this space, and I used to get into it with people like Obsidian about it, of pairing exceptional men with average women. Is just wild AF to me. And guys like him, it seems like he's on that train. Because they never ask what's the pairing. Like if it's an imbalanced pairing, then we could go from there. And Media Man did the same thing to the same dude. It's like y'all telling him what to do, but like, wait a minute, would that pairing be balanced? Y'all telling him what to do, but you're not telling him who to do it for.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the reason why you're not getting girls if you're a nerdy guy probably isn't because of your actual hobbies and interests. You could have those same hobbies and learning how to talk to women and making yourself more attractive, dressing nicer, going to the gym, getting lower body fat, all that stuff, and do both.
Well, once again, I mean, he's gonna go on like that, and it's like, really, do you know what he's looking for?
Whoa, that was a lot. Yeah.
It's like this. Imagine a woman saying, "I can't afford a purse," and another woman coming out and saying, well, you need to you need to get an OF, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to get that BBL, you need to make these niggas pay so you could get that purse. but maybe she has the money, or she's capable of doing these things, but she just like, wait, the purse that I want isn't worth all of that.
I like the video, share the video, and subscribe. These video clips right here gave us a lot to unpack and a lot to think about. The first guy through swinging like it's a lie. These women do not.
It did give us something to think about. I want to thank Danica Marie. If y'all haven't subscribed, which I'm sure y'all have, but subscribe. Um, yeah. Now, I want y'all to remember what he looks like here. I want y'all to remember this for a second. Then we're going to like explore some other things before I go.
Like nerds. They want a very sexy, handsome guy that just so happens to wear glasses, and that's who they're really seeking. And not for nothing, you all, but I do feel like the first guy who came through swinging, like, oh, they're all lying about it. I feel like he was a handsome guy, you know? But to a lot of the following clips' point, he didn't seem that polished, if you will. Okay. And maybe that is something that he is running into. Is maybe not necessarily the fact that women don't want a nerdy guy, but you're somebody who is not hitting home on the grooming element of being a guy that is attractive. That could be it.
Listen, some dudes are going to just be like, more fool them. They're just going to be like that. Okay, for example, like I told y'all last time, my body count would be significantly higher if I smoked weed. And I decided long ago that it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth smoking weed to get access to get additional access. It just wasn't. Just like he decides, like, listen, this it's just box. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure he's come to the conclusion, like, maybe if I did shave, I'd get a few more boxes, but I'd rather not shave. So fuck it. That's the end of that. Like, it's not the end all be all.
You know, maybe it's not your hobbies or it's but I don't know. I want to get you all's feedback about it, right? Because maybe you are the conventionally attractive nerd guy, and women are still turned off by you. Women are still finding you to be strange or a creep or a weirdo. So maybe it's more to it than just keeping yourself, groomed and smell.
You're right. He left so much out of that story, which by the way was strange in and of itself for the reason I already explained. So he left so much out of that story and I like Danica Marie for not really going in and leaving it to us one way or another, but because you can't, like, we don't know what this girl looked like. We don't even know her side of the story. We don't know anything. Like, I mean, like, she could have just been turned off by not by the fact that he was a nerd, but by the fact that he claimed to be deep into anime, and his favorite anime is Frieza Resurrection F. Like, that's something. Like, I mean, but for people to just pop out and be like, "Nigga, you ugly. Stop being ugly." Let me just hit these push-ups. See, this is what you do. You gotta do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's how you gotta do. You gotta do that every 15 minutes, nigga. And shave yourself. Shave yourself, black man. Put on some Tom Ford cologne, motherfucker. That's why you ain't getting no bitches. Listen, like, do you even know what the fuck happened? Like, what the fuck was that?
Good and feeling good and looking good and having certain levels of confidence that goes into a woman finding you to be appealing or attractive. But y'all are going to have to let me know.
And continue from my last video about about girls only one about girls only liking nerdy guys. I still stand by my opinion. I still stand by my opinion. They don't like the guys like me. And just to clarify, so
All right, I actually didn't see this part, but I want to respond to some. Yeah, Attack on Titan is my shit. It is. It is. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm talking about too. Yeah.
I do put myself out there. I do put myself out there. I do. It's not like I'm an incel where I don't put myself out there. I do put myself.
That's not what incel means. Um, it's funny because he's a lot younger than me, maybe even like half my age, and he got more hair on his face than I do. And I'm not saying that in the sense that I'm thumping on him for not grooming himself. Hair just don't really grow on my face like that. Like it don't. Um, I didn't start having to shave until like I was 40. Like I'm really just delayed in the whole face hair thing. Like I was like in my mid 20s. I was around his age when like the mustache first started coming out. So I mean, I don't know if I had his, in my opinion, unfortunate genetics. Not saying he's an ugly dude. I'm saying that that's a hassle. That's a hassle. I do not have to shave that often, um, and he does. So but if I had those genetics, would I shave every damn day? Probably not. Listen, I do the numbers in my brain. It's like I don't know. I don't know of all the women I've been with, how many of them would not have let me hit it if I wasn't shaved. I don't know. If it was like a high amount, like 50%, then yeah, I'd shave all the time. I don't know. I don't think it's enough to warrant a daily shave. I have to shave once every like 10 days. And that's not a haircut. Like me, I have to shave like once every 10 days. If I go on vacation and forget my razor, then I don't care.
Out there. I just don't have any good luck. I'm just not good with women. That's it. Like, come on, man. They don't like the Dragon Ball PC building nerds like me. Like, come on, man. You can't tell me this stuff isn't cool. You can't tell me this stuff isn't cool, man. Like, you can't tell me this stuff isn't tough.
Okay. I will say he do have problems in understanding, but it's not really nerd related. This is just Generation Z related because they're tragically inexperienced in dealing with the opposite sex for whatever reason, both the men and women. There really isn't an expectation that men, nerd or otherwise, have that women be into the same thing that you're into. There isn't, and there shouldn't be. And if you think that's a nerd thing, it's not. It, Most women are not going to be into the thing that their men are in. Like think about it we're in a relationship where a guy isn't a nerd, where he's, um, not necessarily an athlete, well, but he was a high school athlete or something like that, and now he's just a guy that watched Warriors games all the time, wishing it was him. Like say that guy, does she have to be into the Warriors for you to appreciate her? Does she have to be into the Raiders? Does she have to be into the A's? Do y'all actually have to connect on each and every single little thing? Like, say if you're a gearhead, does she have to be a gearhead? Y'all don't really have to connect on each and every single thing. Um, and she don't actually have to think that Dragon Ball Z is cool, or that, like, she don't really have to be into nerd things. Or anything. Once again, it's not just for nerds. Like, if you're that guy that likes sports, you don't have to really be into sports. If you're that guy that likes, what those white dudes do, like tractor pulls and stuff like that, or NASCAR, like, do she really have to be into that? Like, I mean, you limit your options. You limit your options to the people who are only interested in the same thing that you are interested in, which is a very small pool, especially if you're only interested in masculine things. And, Dragon Ball Z, others, these are masculine things. These are things that cater to males. So, if I had any advice to give you, I'm not Media Man, and I'm not whoever, the handsomest nigga on TikTok was on the last thing. You know, I'm not either of those dudes, but I would tell you that, like, hey, dude, it's not that serious. You don't have to. And this comes from somebody who is a nerd too, and that is not a requirement of mine that she's into nerd stuff. Is it a plus? Oh, absolutely. But is it a requirement? No.
You can't tell me it's not tough.
I just saw a guy say when she says she wants a nerdy boyfriend, she's not talking about us. Nah, speak for yourself. This is exactly what she's talking about. When she says she wants a nerdy boyfriend, this is it. This is the look.
What the
This is
fuck?
what she's going for right here. Speak for yourself, partner.
Are there any ladies here? And if so, tell me if that guy was handsome. Um, because that was very weird. Okay, here's why that's weird to me. And this is coming from like a heterosexual standpoint, right? Um, so I don't really see a difference between him and the other dude. Like, they both have unkept facial hair, except the other guy don't have a mole and he does. And the other guy don't have any grays and you do. And the other guy has hair follicles on top of his head and you don't. So I gotta ask, what in particular? And it's not like you're a snazzy dresser either. Like, that's a Ross button up shirt. So it's not like you Kevin Samuels, Media Man, just, I'm just so fresh and clean. Dude, you have an unironed button up Ross shirt. Like, I'm not trying to thump on you for the sake of thumping you. If I could talk to you, I would ask, what feature or quality, and y'all both have dark rimmed glasses. What feature or quality physically do you possess that he don't? That was very weird that you just did that and said that, and, like, what the fuck?
Says she wants a nerdy boyfriend. This is it. This is the look. This is what she's going for right here. Speak for yourself, partner.
Okay, Wow, that was. I don't know what to make of that. All right, so there's another aspect that I want to cover to this because, dude, there's different levels of liking someone, and basically, when a man hears from a woman that she likes a certain demographic of men, it would mean that they get extra points for being that thing. Let's just throw a number out there and say two. You get, or let's just say 10% or 20%. You get a 20% bump if you are that thing. So if you were a five on a scale from 1 to 10, you get a 20% bump for being, in this case, a nerd, which would make you a six just for the sake of nerds. You know, and if you are a six, then you would automatically become a 7.2 because you're a nerd. And if you're an eight, you become a 9.6. You see where I'm going with this. There's this, I think what he was looking for and what he seemed to be upset that he wasn't getting was that bump. He's saying that, yes, they wouldn't mind if the man who was who they already was physically attracted to was a nerd. I think that's the impression that he got. I don't know if that's accurate from the woman's standpoint, um, but he's saying that there's no bump. He's not getting a bump as a result of that. If he was a five in the face, they're not overlooking that because he's a nerd, or they're not giving him that extra point because he's a nerd. I am the same way. Well, I'm not the same way because I actually do give an extra point, but it's not significant. Um, it's nerd do not override the fact that I'm not physically attracted to a woman. It doesn't. So I don't expect women to give a complete override. Now, does it give like a bump? Absolutely. Absolutely. But it only gives a small bump when all things are equal. Like when I was picking out my crushes, Kelly Stamps won because she's a nerd. In addition to, she's a very attractive woman. But that gave her a bump of all the other women I could be crushing on. So yes, you get that, you get a bump, but it's not significant because she would not be the crush if she was ass ugly. It's not a significant bump, but it is a bump. So I'm thinking that women, think the same way about that, and I don't really mind that. I think the reason that he has expectations is because other groups that they claim to like get a ridiculous and significant bump. Like Brad gets a significant bump with swirlers. That's just like out of this world. Like Brad will get a ridiculous bump with swirlers. That's just like they ignore all red flags and everything. That's a significant bump. And there was a time, and I'm going to give an example of this, where Pookie got a significant bump, and I'm about to share that with you all. So hit that like button, and we'll get into it. I'm gonna say, dude had male pattern baldness. It's not a pattern; it's the whole damn thing. What are you talking about? He has male pattern baldness. Like, nah, he just got baldness. Wait, what the hell? All right. Is it this one? Ah, here we go. It's this one. It, I had a hard time finding this. Now, Pookie Ray Ray, I'm going to be honest, is not really the best example. Ooh, okay, I'm going to leave it like this. This guy's probably isn't the best example because Pookie Ray Ray, in many cases, they do put in work. Just like the dude who was in the wife beater. They do put in the work. A guy can't just wake up one day and say I'm a thug and they drop their panties because he said it. Um, but I'm going to give this example nonetheless. So
went to prison is a punishment meant to actually punish the inmate and force them to change their ways. But for numerous inmates in the Maryland State Prison, it's business as usual. Here is a story you are not likely to forget. 25 people have now been indicted for money laundering and drug trafficking. It was a scheme that took place from behind bars. So that issue is concerning enough. But here's where things get interesting. 13 of the people being indicted are female corrections officers. You know, the ones running the jail. The guards allegedly helped leaders of the Black Gorilla family run their criminal enterprise in jail by smuggling cell phones, prescription pills, and other contraband in their underwear, shoes, and hair. So they are actually helping the people they are locking up. That wasn't enough, and the story wasn't convoluted enough. Get this. 4 of those corrections officers became pregnant by one inmate in particular, one of them with 2 of his kids, while he was serving time behind bars. Another 2 got the inmate's name actually tattooed on their bodies. One of them got the tattoo on her neck, and the other one got it on her wrist. And yet, despite these outwardly signs of the problem, it took quite some time to actually get this indictment. Now, this is the man responsible for this.
okay, so Mr. Whitebeater, you got any grooming techniques for this guy? You got any cologne advice for this guy? I mean, once again, I'm a heterosexual man. However, I'm not an idiot. I know that there's a difference between Flavor Flav and Boris Kojo. I understand that. Um, However, I do know that these 4 guards were with him and not you. So, from the nerd's point of view, I think he's thinking like this guy obviously got a bump if they didn't just, um, dry out, throw away the looks criteria altogether because of his street status. Now, is that something that he's born with? No. He had to work extremely, extremely hard to reach that level of status, to get that credibility, and he sacrificed a lot, including years of his life in order to have it like that. So I'm not going to take that away from him. He did put in effort. But I think what he's saying, I think what dude is saying is that they don't like him as much as they like him. Meaning that they don't like him as a nerd as much as they like him as a prisoner and as the leader of a criminal organization, a successful criminal organization. So I see where he's going with that, but I don't think that he truly understands and respects the effort that this guy puts in. Because, while you are watching anime, he's getting arrested. So, like, he's made significantly more sacrifices than you. My statement is to the other guy, like, really, perfume and shit like that. I don't, nah, just nah, nah. I mean, but hey, do you? All right, I'm gonna read some of your comments before I head up. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. There's another one here, so maybe I'll get to see the women. Somebody says something interesting. He says female guards take the job to have sex with inmates. I'm gonna say no to that, but I will say that there exists some that do. And I get where you're going with this, but the thing is that there's a prison full of inmates, and there isn't a prison full of female guards. So not only did they have their choice of hundreds of inmates, and instead of for picking any one of those hundreds of inmates, they didn't pick the one with the best haircut and the one with the best cologne. They all decided to share a fourth of him. So maybe this one has a picture of the guards because it has it on the thumbnail, but that's too small. So let's see. Somebody said if he was an electrician,
The hallway stayed
they
quiet
wouldn't look
except
at
for
him.
the buzzing
Absolutely
phone.
not. And if he had to put as much effort into becoming an electrician, meaning that not only was he an electrician, he was the leader of other electricians and he was successful at it, they still would not look at him the same. Nevertheless, fight over being a fourth of him. So yeah, that's a very true statement.
And a female CO whispered fast to an inmate blocking her path, while two officers pretended not to see anything happening around them.
All right, let's see. Now it doesn't seem like they're going to show what the chicks look like because I could just tell by the type of. Oh wait a minute, yeah, he did. My mistake. Let me see if I get a clear picture. Oh, it's blurred out, but okay. So it's this one who's pregnant, and then it's this one, both blurred out. Let's
The
see.
turning point. And once those four women aligned themselves with Bulldog.
Okay, and these are the other two. Um, I'm curious on. Well, I'm not even going to say it. My point is that people, when dealing with women, there are no direct correlations. It's not a what's that word? I forget the word, but I think it's not a discrete thing to where what you put in is what you get out. It's not. So I don't like it when people give advice as if it is. Oh, if you shave and do the push-ups, then you're gonna no. There is no freaking guarantees when you're dealing with women. Not a one. not, especially black women. So miss me with this whole, all you got to do. Nope, nope. I'm pretty sure if you went to prison, you would not have the same results. I'm pretty sure you're free right now and you don't have the same results. You know, like some dudes act like women don't say stuff like "he too pretty" or stuff like that. I know because like I have handsome family members. Like it's not a direct correlation. It's not. Kind of like if you make $10 an hour and you work 10 hours, you get $100. It it doesn't work that way with them. All right, let's see. Let's read. Let's start with this one. Dang, why is it so small? Oh, nope, that's something else. Move it to the next screen. Give me a second. I can't see it. It's too small. All right, it says, are nerds afraid of being called pookie by the women for pumping and dumping them? If so, nobody cares. Can't blame Pookie for this one. It's funny. So it was a show. Cousin turned me on to it with Issa Rae, not Lisa, but Issa Rae, called Insecure. And there was a character who also is software engineer, and he was dating Lisa Ray, but then they start to follow his storyline after they broke up, and he got with this girl named Tasha who worked at the bank, and he was fucking Tasha, and then the relationship started getting real, and he started smashing somebody else, somebody that he worked with. And then he broke up with her over the phone. And Tasha, as she sounded surprised and aggravated at the same time, and she was like, "You a fuck nigga." And I think the surprise came from was that he's not a Pookie. He didn't have the Pookie persona. He had education, he had sophistication and stuff like that. So she was like taken back that he was capable of doing something like that. She felt safe under that persona, and it did bother him. But it bothered him because he didn't know what he was. He actually fell for his own persona. If he didn't, and later he did. Later he realized his actual worth on the sexual marketplace. Like he started seeing other women. He started, having threesomes, white girl threesomes, and stuff like that. And he realized that, hey, I'm a handsome dude that just so happened to be smart. And maybe I should just go with that. It's not a nerd thing. It's not anything. It's just that I understand my value and I don't really care what women call me afterwards. You can't see that three of them are decent looking. Yeah, with black women you can't tell because a lot of their bodies be like shit. Not proud to say it. In the county jail, a female officer tried to press me, and okay. Let's see. Do you see? Is it possible that they were seduced by his power? Yes, that is. Once again, that's an earned thing. Once again, I'm not, listen. All I'm saying is that it's not a linear thing. I'm not saying like he didn't deserve it. I do not know. Um, well, I know some that he had to sacrifice for it. Like, I mean, he sacrificed years of his life. Whether you're having sex or not, it's better to be free than it is to be locked up. Um, So yeah, I mean, he worked hard and sacrificed and got the results. That's the results he was looking for. Um, yeah, Langdon, bro. Most women, especially black women, get those jobs to be around inmate. It's definitely not about the pay. LOL. Um, okay, here's the thing. For one, it most certainly isn't about the pay or the prestige. Let's start there. Um, for many, it's the security, but and by that I mean the security of um, knowing that you'll be at that job for the next 20 years, which is more than the people at Google can say or Meta can say or something like that. So, there's that. Women tend to go for secure jobs, especially ones with children. Um, and two, even though they get paid the same as men, they most certainly don't have to work as hard. But really, and this applies to black women, it is and I did a video on this years ago. It is a power structure, but not the one you're talking about, or not the one the previous commenter was talking about. It's a power structure for black women in the sense that county employees are God's God. And let me explain what I mean by that. When you grow up in the hood, in the ghetto, in the projects, whatever you want to call it, when you grow up in a government subsidized environment, mama is queen. She is queen, she's king, she's God. In the house, there is no authority over her. And right quick, I'll be right back. In the ghetto, mama is God. She sits her fat ass in the room all day and give command to underlings, which is you and some men who simp enough to be in that situation. She is the unquestioned authority in the projects until the government employee comes. And then mama's stepping out her throne. And then this woman with the clipboard is being called ma'am all of a sudden. And the kids are seeing this. They was like, oh, this is true power. This is the power over mama. So that's really what these female guards are going for. They're going for hood power. As sick and as twisted as it sounds, I want y'all to stop and think about these educated women. We the most educated. What are their degrees in? And talk to them while they're in college and ask them what do you want. I want to be a social worker. I want to be a probation officer. I want a muscle-bound thug to come to me, hat in hand, with his head down, like, yes, ma'am, I smoked a little bit of weed. I'm sorry. I'll behave. They want that. They want that hood power. That's what it comes down to. I kid you not. So yeah, maybe some of them want to smash, and maybe that power dynamic is really what turns them on. But make no mistake, the primary reason why they go for jobs like that is because of the hood power. Hit the like button. All right. I don't even know why they let women get those jobs. Well, it definitely should be segregated. The women should work in the women's prison and vice versa. By the way, if you ever had like a prison fantasy, don't. Those bitches look whooped. If you ever had a fantasy where you were the prison guard and you just were seeing the inmates, no. No. That's nothing to fantasize about. Kevin, the Pookie thing is way worse than people describe on YouTube. I've seen 5'5" guys out of jail get the most attractive women. I have never seen that ever. Sorry, eating too. Lawrence hit them streets. Yeah, he did. I don't really blame him. But for women to think that because he's a nerd or because he's a software guy or something like that, that he was gonna turn down the white girl threesomes, what the fuck? Support the channel. A female guard is God in jail. Absolutely. I mean, not only she has the authority of a guard, but she has the sexual leverage of a female, magnified by the fact that they're in jail. I mean, we all know that women want to be hollered at. That they get off on that. Imagine how much they get off on it in prison. When I was in college, I talked to and saw how they were going for useless degrees, and it was a part of a class assignment to discuss our careers. They were Keisha and Becky. Well, once again, it's only useless because so many of them are going for the same county social worker position. They want to drive around in those white cars that say Alameda County on the side of it, or Folsom County on the side of it, or whatever county you're from, and they drive up. And these are women who don't even behave for the cops, but they behave when that social worker comes through. They behave when that CPS woman comes through. And mama be like, peep those roaches out the cereal. The CPS worker is coming. That lawyer from a Young Thug YSL RICO case ended up with one of the guy she defended. I don't know much about the story. They definitely turned on by that jail authority over inmates. Yeah, exactly. And maybe that turned into sexual desire. They have authority over a man with authority, yeah, maybe that's part of their kink. I don't know. Oh, it's very common to see short jail dudes get a lot of women. If you say so. I literally know dudes who legs. What the hell is it with you in short? Oh, damn. Okay. Women literally try to make love connections on three-way jail phone. I'm not gonna pretend like there don't exist women who are attracted to criminals. All right, let's see. It's always them psychology degrees. Yeah. No, they want the government job where they have authority over um, black people, excuse me, who one way or another find themselves in the government system. Jail and prison is a government system. Welfare and projects is a government system. Even the school system is a government system. Yes, they like having that authority, especially over the men. There's no greater stripes in the black community than the social worker. It's the only thing that can get black women to act right. Because even if a cop takes, say a black woman is getting government assistance for taking care of her own son. Yes, that's what it is. They're paying a woman to babysit her own kids. Let's say she's getting government assistance for that, right? And that son goes to jail. The government still will give her assistance to take care of a son that is being taken care of through the state or county. That situation that they're in. All right. I don't know where Rice Street is. Let's see. A black female CEO just got arrested where I live yesterday. They got ish on Fulton County. Yeah, maybe not. Only male officers are held accountable for sleeping with inmates. Well, not true, but male CEOs are held way more accountable than the female CEOs because nobody is saying that these women raped this guy. No one is saying that. But a male CEO, no matter how consensual it is going down for grape. These women probably just lost their job or got a little bit of county time. But they're not on the registry and they're not going down for grape. Women want men who act like Pookie, like the rapper is not actual Pookie. I was being funny with Landon about the guy in the video. Okay, maybe I misread something. All right. Nerds are being presented with the opportunity to smash the same chick that they always claim Pookie had access to, but are looking for problems with it instead. Oh well. Being pressed with the opportunity to smash the same chicks they always claim Pookie had access to. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying that the same chicks that want Pookie also want the nerds. In many cases, yeah. I never known a chick that was exclusively into. Well, I have, um, but I don't think that that was like a for life thing. That like I knew chicks that only mess with fraternity dudes in college. She only messed with dudes that were a part of the fraternity. Um, but I don't know what those same girls would do if somebody was exceptional in other ways and presented himself to her, or they met under exceptional circumstances. And then you have the ones who say that they're only in the rich dudes, but so yeah. Kingfish, do you see things black women don't want Pookie anymore? Hold on, eating. In a very real way, they never did. Just like they don't really want nerds now. It was just their turn. Once again, they heard their box from group to group. And that group becomes arrogant, and then they herd it to the next group. That's why they're pushing this, swirl thing so hard. That's the next group. And you'll see more videos about that than you do about their lust for Pookie. And Pookie, they were herded over from another group. And this group was, like a white collar Sidney Poitier looking black man that they assumed was into white women. Now, back in the 50s, 60s, when that was like the it dude, they herded themselves to him. And then Pookie was next in line. Once again, they just herd box. We agree to disagree, UFO. It's not about putting effort. I mean, it's about a number of things. For sometimes it's effort. Like it's so inconsistent that it's really not like it's really not sound to give advice in one direction. It's really not sound to give advice for the totality because they're all over the place. I mean, all right. Imagine this, right? Imagine being told at one point that it's all about the money. It's all about the money, and and brothers just started getting their money together, and become the top of their field. Whether it's electrician, plumber, stuff like that, they just stacking their bread, in order to appease black women. And then the box herd moved to Pookie. It moved to, it's not about money, it's about excitement. It's about excitement, it's about street credibility, it's about being a part of something that's dangerous, and it's about protection. So basically you dedicated your life to appeal to a demographic that's not consistent. So now it's Pookie's turn. And then the young man like, oh man, it's about being Pookie. I can't wait to get me a record. So in the 80s, he's running the streets, he becomes a do boy for the D boy, and then he's selling that stuff. He's on the street, getting the street credibility. He's listening to Beyonce talk about I need a soldier, you know. And then they change their mind, and now it's about sprinkle, sprinkle and shit. and your ass is in jail. Or they change this. They change their mind, and it's about pretty boys. It's like, oh nah, I like those handsome off shirt niggas. I like the six packs. I like, I like, I like I like the dudes with the eyebrow tattooed and shit. I like the smell good dudes. I like the crispy lineup that he gets every 3 days. Like so. They don't care about the dude that dedicated himself to thuggery just so he could have his turn, and then by the time he got there, they shifted their box to the next fucking group of dudes. They don't care. So now the pretty boys got their turn. The semi metrosexual dudes, now it's their turn. So dudes is spending, their whole fucking, unemployment check, trying to, and they just killing it in the gym and shit like that. And then by the time they get to full off shirt nigga pretty boy jawline status, once they get to that point, then they like, yeah, but now I like nerds. Now I want to swirl. So what to learn from this is just be yourself and wait your turn. If you really waiting for if you're really waiting for the pussy herd to come your way, just be yourself and wait your turn. Like that's it. Don't dedicate your life and your whole being to whatever the fuck these bras are looking for. It's not that fucking serious. And besides, there's always going to be other groups and demographics of women that don't have that collectivist mindset. That's way more diverse in what they're looking for. I don't know what the YSL is. I don't care. Fanny is the DA in Atlanta. Okay, good to know. Okay. Right Street is Fulton County. Okay, cool. No, they're not. Nerds are not given the opportunity. I'm a nerd. I've been given opportunity. I didn't take it because I'm not a fucking idiot. Well, I mean, if you mean opportunity like as marriage or long term, I didn't take that. But have I taken opportunity for vibes? Absolutely. Because I'm a man, I like having sex with attractive women. Just because I'm a nerd doesn't mean I don't have a life experience. Yeah, everyone has life experience. It's what they choose to learn from it. It's a matter of individual intelligence. All right, it says, women say that they want nerds, but do they want to have sex with them? Some do. I can imagine them wanting one and not having, sex with them. Well, it depends. Once again, black women are a lot different, but black women, they want to be wanted. And that's another reason why they herd their pussy from demographic to demographic. The reason why they're announcing on TikTok that they want nerds as opposed to going to Instagram and just going into a nerd's DMs, the reason why they're doing that is because they want more nerds to holler at them. See, black women, they're not as interested in long-term relationships as other groups of women. So they get their frills from a lot of men. Okay, put it like this. When black women go to clubs, they're not going there to find a guy that they like. They're going there to get as many of the guys to like them. In a very real way, they're trying to increase their rejection count, just like many of the men are trying to increase their body count. Now, there's only so many men in any given demographic that they can pull this shit on before the men catch on and, like, okay, this is a fruitless endeavor. And when that happens, black women move to a different demographic. They're like, okay, Pookie isn't hollering at me as much anymore. I'm gonna see if I can get the nerds in on it too. I'm gonna see if I can get the Asian dudes in on it too. I'm gonna see if I can get the white dudes in on it too. So they really want to be wanted by nerds more than they want nerds. Many of them. I'm not saying all, I'm saying the TikTok ones in particular. GC, why do you see the criminal being celebrated when he gets home, but college students isn't celebrated? I was celebrated. I don't. I don't know where y'all see this. I mean, I know that that's a common trope in the black community, but I don't know. I don't know how accurate that is. But let's go somewhere with this. Let's go somewhere with this, right? And let's move into black cinema world for a second. And let's take the movie that probably started that trope, which was Boys in the Hood. Because the opening scene from when he was a kid showed Ice Cube at the cookout and playing dominoes and shit. It's like, okay. The mother was happy that he was home. And she threw a barbecue. Was it a line of bitches fucking him? No. In fact, throughout the movie, it really didn't seem like he had any bitches. Now, his brother had a whole fucking baby from a woman who is like in her 50s and still looked like she's in her 20s. And y'all know who I'm talking about. Shout out to Class Act and all the other shit she was on. But where was Ice Cube's bitches? Like he may have pulled that Mexican chick with the whole Sainta Bonita shit that he was saying, but it's like, I mean, once again, like I don't really see it like that. And this is me like looking outside of the movies. Like I never seen like do now okay, I'll put it like this. Do thugs slay? Absolutely. Do I know thugs who have slayed? Absolutely. Do they do significantly better than they would if they weren't a thug? No. But if you take the word out of, if you take the word significant out of that statement, the answer is yes. I'll do you one better. Are they thug incels? Oh, fuck yes. Fuck yes. All right. Let me go down to the bottom. He was talking about the hood celebrate. I don't care. Of course, the hood is going to celebrate hood shit. the fuck? I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, did they have graduation parties every fucking year when students graduate? Yes. Did they have like black graduation parties? Is there hood parties when somebody gets um, released from prison? Yes. All right, Cortez. I'm gonna tell y'all like this, and other brother, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. Listen, Pookie is not worth thinking about. And if you are thinking about Pookie in that way, you're too close to the hood. You're way too close to the hood. That's really all I have to say about that. Like, okay, y'all remember The Wire, and Omar, Omar was this dude, and he had all the street credibility because he went around robbing drug dealers and shit like that, and you know, and he was a snitch, but nobody cared because he was just so cool with the wave cap, and the bulletproof vest, and and the hood was just talking legends, like this is Omar, everybody, Omar's coming, it's Omar, oh no, it's Omar, and then when he died, when he got shot in the head by a youngster, two things happened. The paper was asked, should we cover this murder or should we cover the fire? And dude was like, cover the fire. Why? Because Omar was fucking nobody to people who are not in the hood. And then they showed the last scene where, the toe tag, where it was a black dude, he was in the coroner's office, and, the toe tag was mixed up between him and the old white dude next to him. And then he just switched the toe tags, gave a little chuckle, and then moved on because he didn't know who the fuck Omar was. And that's because outside of the hood, when you are truly mentally outside of the hood, nobody gives a flying fuck about who Omar is. Just like I don't give a flying fuck about who's getting out of jail and who's getting celebrated for it. I truly do not give a shit. I'll hope one day that all of y'all come to that age of segregation from it. Cause like my homie that used to stay here, who was divorced, he moved out. But y'all heard him talk. Y'all heard him up talk fat bitches and all that shit. He constantly talking about what's going on in the hood, and we don't even live in Oakland anymore. Like such and such is spoken with such and such. Nigga, what? I haven't even heard of these sets, nor do I give a shit. Don't ever think I give a shit about that. Ever. R.I.P. Michael K. Williams. That's Omar name? Rest in peace, brother. Let's see. I agree you shouldn't worry about the hood, but most black communities um, come from the hood. Influences come from the hood. Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, we're talking about the parties here, and this whole thing. Like, how come they get celebrated and I don't? I'm like, and I'm so far removed that I didn't even know or cared if they got celebrated. I really do not care what the fuck a nigga who got released is doing in his grandmama's backyard. I really, I'm not jealous of no shit like that. Somebody say you talking about literal sex? Yeah, he was talking about that shit like I give a fuck. Like I give a fuck. I could not express to him how much, you know. And sometimes, oftentimes, especially with him, I listen to shit like that just to, you know, or I listen to shit just to, you know, make the person feel like I'm interested in what they're saying. But I didn't even want to hear it. I truly didn't give a shit. Like I'm just like the dude in the wire. Like, you know, like if I lived in Baltimore and somebody came to me and was like, "Hey, GC," like what? Hey, Omar died. I would look at him like, "What in the fuck is a Omar?" And why should I care? Like they told me that I would assume that it was a 10-year-old that got shot by a cop. Like I would not know or give a shit. I don't like yeah, I mean celebrate a loved one that got released from prison. What the fuck? Like I don't care. It's not like a you know oh the oh how come he got a party? Well, I mean, you know, if I gotta go to jail to get a party afterwards, I'd be like, fuck it. Like I would rather just stay free and party every fucking day. Now, there's also economic reasons. Somebody said, how are the fuel prices affected by gang sets? Exactly. Exactly. Unless there's a gang that's going to open up the Straits of Hormuz, I really don't give a shit. I mean, what the fuck? Now, here is an advantage that Pookie has over non-Pookies. And it's not really an advantage that I want, but it's an advantage if you're interested in hood pussy. Am I interested in hood pussy? Yes and no, but I'll get into that later. Here's an advantage that Pookie has. Women who are in the system, who are getting government assistance, they want somebody with non-taxable income. That's why there's this push towards scammer and entrepreneur and stuff. They want somebody who has money under the table, somebody who has an income, but that won't get them off of Section 8. I shit you not. That's what they're focused on. Um, you know, let's take lead attorney for example. A chick's not gonna fuck with lead attorney, not because they don't find him attractive or because that he's too square, just from a practical standpoint. They would have to leave. Um, they would have to leave their Section 8 if they wanted to live with him, and put all the power in his hands. He could say, "Bitch, get the fuck out," and you at the back of the Section 8 list. And nobody who ever been on Section 8 want to be on the back of the Section 8 list. Nobody. Hood pussy comes with youngsters. Okay. We'll get into that. I think the biggest problem is the ignorance, like you have to dumb yourself down. Well, the thing is that though there is some correlation between the hood and ignorance, it's not a one-to-one relationship, and there are intelligent women in the hood, and there are unintelligent women in the suburbs. Um, what I found, and I actually learned this the hard way, and I missed out on a lot of box from not discovering this, is to shut the fuck up. And this isn't me being a game ninja, because individual results and individual situations may vary. As y'all can tell, I'm an excellent conversationalist. However, if you scope the situation and determine that conversation is not going to get you anywhere and it's going to work against you, um, whether you're smart or you're dumbing yourself down, then this is a situation where anything you say can be used against you in the court of box. So, many times, oftentimes, I find myself just nodding as they tell me their life story, like Forrest Gump. And many women will actually say, oh, he's, they fill in the blanks. They want to be listened to, not talked to. It's your job as a man to determine which one is which and allow it to happen. Shit. Somebody said, "Be quiet and listen." Ha! You think I'm listening? That is, if they think you're listening, then that means you're good at it. Because I'm not listening. I'll listen to like the last couple words, like the last two words, or the last three words. So if the last three words are something like Dragon Ball Z, I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. It's sad that dude died from Dragon Ball Z, and then she'll start talking again. She'll start talking again for another 10 minutes, and you could zone out and wait for the last two words. I'm going to say read my comment from above. All right. There is no average for the black man. Yeah, I agree. I agree. And the one woman on Danica, oh, there's a larger comment. Okay, let's see. Um, for many of these people living in poverty, they think it's easier. You're poor or you're a lawyer making six figures when in reality, lots of lawyers are making 60K in debt. Okay, very true. Here's how that doesn't really apply. So to get things like Section 8 and stuff like that, um, even an average man don't qualify for Section 8. If so, all average men would have it. You have to make like such a ridiculously low amount that it doesn't make sense to even have a job. When I was in college, me and some other students applied for food stamps, and nobody got it, even though we were only working part time and having jobs like at the Gap and stuff like that, at gas stations and shit like that, part time. The only person that got it was somebody who, when she faxed in her application, yeah, that's how old I am. When she faxed in her application, it was wrinkled, and the income amount looked different because it got caught in the wrinkles. She was the only one that qualified. They require, and California tends to pay more, but the requirements are still the same. So there's that too. But nevertheless, my point is that it's a ridiculously low amount that most working adults do not qualify for Section 8, especially two of them. So, even the average guy, even the guy in between, she's going to overlook um, because of that. For women who fuck with hood dudes, they're fine fucking for some weed, but if you have a degree and a decent corporate job, they expect you to make six figures. Yeah, yeah. Um, in my assessment, they would fuck the six figure dude if he had weed also. It's something about weed that make a woman forget that she's sucking dick for $10. Sometimes you just need to sit back, quiet, and observe. True. All right, just did. So, homework assignment. I want y'all to watch something. They only need you for ear and penis, and that's it. Uh, some people are just like that. Some people, some people are talkers, and because I'm a talker, it took me a while to realize to turn that shit off, and it took me even longer to realize when to turn that shit off. Prior to that, I did talk myself out of a lot of pussy that had I just like shut up and waited and let her talk, results would have been better. But that's growing pains. That's some things that you learn growing up. And you're not gonna learn shit like that from game dudes because they're not there. They're not there telling you which chicks to talk to and which chicks to listen to. So they're just really just speaking out their ass. Facts. I tried to get food stamps in college. They said I had to quit my job. Yeah, yeah. Like food stamps, they want you broke, broke, and I was broke. I was so broke that I started realizing stuff that only broke people knew. Like cherry Kool Aid is five for $1. Oh no, 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 my bad. Cherry Kool Aid, wild cherry Kool Aid is four for $1, and all the other flavors was five. And the fact that I knew that, I knew I was broke as fuck. Only broke people would know that shit. I'm like, the fact that I knew that, and the fact that I got regular Kool Aid, I got the non-cherry Kool Aid, just so I can have an extra pack per $1, will give you an idea of how broke I was, and I still didn't qualify for food stamps. And y'all might not even know, because I didn't know this shit until I was dealing with brokicity. But there's something called ramen noodles. Now I know what y'all thinking, GC. Everybody know about ramen noodles. No, it's not that. There's top ramen, and then there's regular ass ramen with no flavor pack in it. I was so broke. I actually had to um, contemplate how much do I want a flavor pack in my noodles. I was broke. I was broke. I mean, the steak right now. I was broke. I was broke. I'm like, how bad do I want a flavor pack in my noodles? There's top ramen, which has the flavor pack, and look it up. And there's regular ramen that don't have any damn flavor pack. And I'm thinking like, damn, dog, maybe I should just put some salt on it. I think states vary. Down here, you give men stamps when they work, but it's unbelievably low. Well, that's what I was saying. Californians tend to make more than people, but the requirement, which I don't know what it is, but the requirement is the same like throughout the throughout the country. So like minimum wage here has always been higher than minimum wage in the South. So yeah, like we both flipping burgers at Burger King, but you making X amount and I'm making Y amount, and even though my rent is higher and stuff like that, they're not factoring that in, or at least they didn't back then. So yeah, that's why you would probably qualify and I would. I'm glad I'm not an Asian man those days. Have it bad, laughing my ass off. What do you mean they have it bad? They got like half the dick and twice the and twice the cooperation from their women. What are you talking about? Weed is aphrodisiac. Yeah, it's definitely an icebreaker. Meanwhile, the average female get about $200 without kids. Talking your way out of pussy. Yeah. I lost more pussy with my mouth than I did, from not smoking weed. And my friends will tell you. My friends will tell you. Like I mean, not homie because I didn't really go to college with them, um, but they'll tell you. They will tell you stories about how I would just say like the wrong shit when I should have just shut the fuck up. They will tell you, and I look back and I regret it. Like, damn, I would have did better not saying shit. Asian guys get no pussy at all throughout high school and college. Get told to get a degree and first time have sex. Yeah, true. But shit, I'd rather be fucking, the most successful minority group than the ones that get the most fat bitches pussy. I mean, like, what the fuck? They got something to show for themselves. And half their women want brads or black dude. Yeah, but they still wind up with them now, don't they? One thing that y'all don't realize, and I think that we should make this clear. Sorry, meeting. Asian men turn down a lot of pussy. A lot of the pussy that black men get and brag on, Asian men wouldn't fuck it if they had the opportunity. Now, granted, many of them don't even have the opportunity, but even if they did, they wouldn't. It's a mutual thing for them. Yeah, they don't. They don't fuck as often by a long shot, but they do fuck the best by a long shot. Cortez, if white men wanted to, they could colonize all of Asia in a couple of weeks. What the fuck? Um, Iran is in Asia. Vietnam is in Asia. Are you saying that they didn't want to? What the fuck? What the fuck? I gotta respectfully disagree with that one. Nobody loves Brad more than Asian and African people. Yeah, sure. Other races have been marrying nerdy black dudes for years. Black women are late to the party. Yeah, yeah, they are. Look at like Childish Gambino and stuff. Seasoning salt. Yeah. Saying to myself, how much Lowry's do I got? Minimum wage in the South is chattel slavery. Yeah, yeah. When I was working at Burger King, this is the lowest I ever made. Minimum wage was 4.25 an hour. So to think that it's somewhere like in the country that that they was probably getting like three or something. Yeah, it's bad. They actually don't go back to Asian men statistically. Probably not. I do know that's a problem amongst Asians. I mean, they have the same swirl mentality as black women. It's just that white men actually like them, so they actually follow through. For us, it's just words. Like for us swirling and shit like that, it's just words. I mean, if you have like a black female, nine, and she gives herself to a white male five or something like that, it's like okay, she was already lost if she's willing to take it that far. But with Asian women, they're actually sought after, and it's an actual thing. They actually marry Mark Zuckerberg and Bill Gates and shit. Like they actually get down like that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a problem. Thailand is currently kicking white Israeli out as we speak. I'm not going to touch that one. I'm joking. I'm saying after women are going. Okay. Asia is the black man's promised land until Africa develops more. Well, the problem with Africa is that in most of the country, or the most of the continent, the women look like shit. And the problem with Asia is also that the women look like shit. The difference between Africa and Asia, besides infrastructure, is that Asian women are doing their best and they look like shit. African women are not doing their best. They're actually doing their worst and they look like shit. That's the huge difference. Men appreciate effort. It's like, okay, here, let me show you what I'm talking about. fucking flies. All right, it's a fly in here. All right. Let's see. If African women put in the same effort that Asian women put in, then they all would look like Shay Sade and Danica Marie. Problem is that they don't, and they look like fat shit with fake hair, with very weird fucking looks on their face. All right, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. All right, 1 second. Let me share what I'm talking about. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is a Filipino woman. All right. Um, Nothing really pops out genetically, and that's her and the girls in the background. Nothing really pops out. You know, there's nothing more than a B cup in this whole damn room. It's eight titties here, and not a C cup amongst them, or better, not a one. But they took what their genetics gave them and they maximized it. She made sure they all made sure that their hair was on point. They all made sure that they body was slim and fit. They all made sure that their teeth was white. They all made sure that you could see their collarbone and shit like that. You know, um, they take care of their hair and shit. See, this is what effort gets you. If black women put this type of effort and kept the Nika Marie style titties on some of them, then they would be goddesses. But no, instead they decided to walk around smelling funny, fat as hell, and ask to be called goddesses anyway. Fuck that. Fuck it. So that's what I'm saying. They're not working with much genetically, but they maximize. They maximize what they got. Black women and particularly African women, um, they many of them have some things going on genetically, but they minimize the shit. In fact, let me give y'all a glimpse of what I'm talking about. On the opposite end. Why you put a question mark there? Smelling funny? Well, you don't smell that shit? Tell me this, dumb, because you say stuff. You don't smell that shit. You're telling me that everything is just pH balance to your nose and shit. Is that what you're saying? You don't smell all the hair products and all that shit that they got going on that be in the carpet. Hold on. See if I can find this. Here we go. I want to give y'all a glimpse of how fucked up it is. Shout out to King Penton, his channel. He did a. I didn't see the whole skit. I was gonna watch it with y'all one day. Somebody said burnt hair. Exactly. Like I thought you meant body odor, etc. No, yeah, okay, fair enough. But I mean, nevertheless, you can't have that lifestyle. You know, the burnt hair, the weed, the glue, the weed. You can't have that lifestyle and not expect the associated smell with that. You just can't. Yeah, unwashed hands smell too. They go months without washing their hair, and they put it in your face. Like after sex, and you spoon them, they put their hair in your face. Like all that shit, it be in your face, and that's the cost of pussy with a black woman. That's the cost you have to pay. Dirty hair in your face all night.
Are these your brothers?
What?
Are these your brothers?
No, no, no. These are my wives. They're not men.
Oh, my bad.
What?
Somebody tell me what's going on? Like,
Make some upgrade. You know, it's a good time now. You guys know that to upgrade our family. You know.
upgrade the family as how?
Huh? Yeah. Like this is Shaliga from America. You know.
What are you trying to say exactly?
You know, she's from America.
And when did this house turn to Airbnb?
Oh, my purse.
Are you?
This is a skit. This African dude who has two African wives um, decided to marry a third woman who just so happened to be American. Um, okay, I want to talk. I want to bring something up. This is a nice place. This is a very nice place. I don't like that fan there. I because it makes me think that they don't have AC, and from I've never been to Africa, but I know that it's hot as hell, and sit there with the fan on isn't a good look. But let's talk about the women for a second. and I'm going to start with the African ones. Um, the hair is not kept, and I understand that, um, that they have different textures than other groups of women, but still, it does seem like Irish Smart Girl Philippines. She's been taking care of her hair since her mother, was combing her hair since she was like 4 years old, and then when she became of age, she started doing it herself. And it seems like she just had like a fresh fade. The one on the left seemed like she just had a fresh fade, about a month ago. That's what I'm talking about. It's differences like that. Like these women could quite possibly be significantly more attractive, and she has that hairline that comes from years of weave that we talked about in previous videos. Like it, and this isn't a matter of wealth or anything like that. People are poor in the Philippines as well. Even a poor Filipino woman still has like maximized her hair beauty. Um, and then you have, the other one who, she's decent, but still the hair. Like both of them look like their hair care ritual consisted of wetting their T-shirt, wrapping it around their head, and snatching it off, and then going on camera. So do better in that regard, because genetically they both could likely, if they maximize their potential, likely outdo Smart Girl Philippines, but they don't maximize their potential.
Wait.
Mm-mm.
I'm
calling 911.
We don't have 911 in Africa.
Then what y'all got? Pretty girl fight.
Welcome.
What the hell?
Welcome to Africa. This is how you guys welcome people to the. Actually, we're men. Look how they. Wait.
She actually called herself the pretty one. I'm wondering if Africa, would they actually believe that she's the pretty one? Because I know in the South niggas be believing that they the pretty one. She's not the pretty one. She's the fattest one. Is it so fucked up that they actually would think that she's the pretty one? Y'all got like big chicks walking around like that, thinking that they hot shit because they light skinned it. That shit's wild as fuck. But the other woman is overweight. You talking about this one in the green? I don't know if she's overweight or if she just got like a puffy face.
Guys, what I am trying to do is something very good for our family. Sometimes you need to upgrade. We cannot sing place,
But we're not
already.
things.
Y'all know what I say about high. I'm gonna just eat, but y'all know what I say about high waisted jeans. If they're hiding fat, she's hiding fat. She's hiding fat.
We're already cleaning it. Why are you doing this?
Baby, get some glasses and look. It's dirty.
I have to clean it.
You guys, baby, you need some contact lenses because it's
What do
still
you mean?
dirty.
Well, we don't see them.
What the fuck is with this 5 head though? You see, they be like wasting opportunities. I had a professor tell me that because I didn't do some of the homework assignments, and he's like, um, why are you wasting these opportunities for easy points? Because say you miss a question on a test or something, you know, that's a lot of points that you lost for the overall class, and you're like, don't miss these easy points. Like it's easier to get 100% on a homework assignment than it is to get 100% on a test. So why in the fuck aren't you missing out on homework assignments? And it's true. So my point is that do your fucking hair. You losing easy points. Like, look at what the fuck is this? It's this looks like a beret. Like it's not because this is like this chewed off region here is where the hair is supposed to be, but it just went backer and backer and backer over the fucking years, and then now you're just left with this nap throw in the fucking end. You're losing beauty points. Africa ain't the Wakanda you think. I didn't think it was Wakanda, and I don't think that Philippines is the fucking thing with the guy from Ten Rings is from. No, this was in a different class, but no. Nevertheless, just do it. I don't give a fuck where you are. There's village bitches out there. I be watching the titty tribe bitches, and they had a hair did better than this shit. Some of those titty tribe bitches be looking good. Make a brother just want to buy like a dozen cows and then just take it to the titty tribes and just cash in.
What do you mean?
I mean, okay, let me break it down to you. There's on the table.
So you have clean. Go and get glass clean it.
Anyway, I'm not the you or you.
He love me more.
No, I'm the first wife. He loves me more.
No, he love me more.
He loves me more.
He love me more than her.
He loves me more because I'm the one. He obviously.
What are you saying?
Yeah, he loves
It's
me.
not,
Matter of fact, just to
but this whole arrogant bitch thing don't work when you're fat. So I'm just gonna ignore this shit. This is stupid. All right, but thank you for the super chat. She hate me, or the cash app. She hate me. Thank you, Landon, for the cash app. I want to thank the managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those participating in the chat. Hit the super hype button and the like button on your way out. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.